Timothy Dalton's A Man on a Mission, Licence to Kill is our movie at 2:35 this afternoon. Before that, on ITV1, Formula One is back.
A new F1 season looms. Another title for Michael Schumacher, don't bank on it. Kimi Raikkonen leads the charge of the young guns flat out to finish the Schumacher era. In F1 2004, there'll be a race in the desert and another step into the unknown. In the autumn, it's the first Chinese Grand Prix. And we've come to one of the new venues for F1 2004, Bahrain in the Arabian Gulf, where in less than 18 months, they've transformed what used to be a camel farm and an oasis in the desert into a magnificent Grand Prix circuit that'll be open for business in time for the race here on April the 4th. It's the first modern Grand Prix in the Middle East. Bahrain, one of 18 races in a hectic year that starts next weekend in Australia. Then long hauls to Malaysia and Bahrain's F1 debut. Imola opens the European season. Canada and the USA back-to-back in June. The British, July the 11th. There are 6 races in 8 weeks. Belgium returns. China arrives in late September. More on that later. After Japan, the curtain comes down in Brazil. Well, here in Bahrain, they've spent the thick end of £80 million and worked against the clock to prove that Formula One can flourish in the desert. What's the track going to be like, though? That's the burning question. Martin Brundle, down below, has the answer.
I can tell you the track is 5.5 kilometres long, anticipated lap time around 90 seconds, top speed well over 210 miles an hour, at least 3 great overtaking opportunities. We're witnessing the birth of a Grand Prix circuit. Turns 1, 2 and 3 still under construction just weeks before the race itself. Let's join the track a little further along. Well, we've left the oasis of the pit, paddock and hospitality, and we're down at turn 4, arriving at about 190 miles an hour in a Formula One car, down to first gear and just 50. The track is nice and wide, but not too wide. Ahead of us, turn 5. Amazingly, they still haven't finally agreed the number of corners on this racetrack. Not as crazy as it might seem. Is this just a left kink at the end of a straight or a corner? But turn 6 there, this right-hander unquestionably is a corner, and it's going to be tough in a Formula One car. About 130 miles an hour through here, switching through 7 and downhill then to bring the car to the left-hand side for turn 8. Over a blind crest then, climbing uphill, surprisingly, for the desert. But this is a sweeping left-hander, turn 9, around 160 miles an hour now, and it's going to be tough because it's actually a braking zone. Turn 10 is immediately after, a very short straight that will just disappear in a Grand Prix car, and I wonder if a few drivers might bitch about the lack of runoff. A left-hand hairpin then onto what is the back straight. On either side of the track is a mixture of concrete and stone. No chance of growing grass, of course, out here in these conditions. Heading down then to turn 11, another heavy stop. This is a difficult circuit for Formula One brakes. And now what I think will be one of the most challenging parts of the track is this sweeping right-hander, turn 13. That'll be constant acceleration, tightening slightly on the exit. I think 150 to 160 miles an hour through here. And then a very tricky turn 14, double apex right-hander, where the track tightens through the exit and really challenges you. You want to get going, and the track is still nipping you slightly. Yet another long straight ahead of us then, and it's going to be well over 200 miles an hour as we sweep gently downhill towards the final turn 15. It's a double apexer. The first one is yet another right-hand first gear hairpin, and surely a great overtaking opportunity. Easy through the exit as the track opens up into a 1 kilometre straight. What an incredible construction undertaking this is. Right out in the desert, one of the finest Grand Prix facilities in the world. I can't wait until we come here for the Grand Prix.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much indeed. So Formula One arrives in the Middle East. Fawaz, you've been really responsible for getting that track in shape. How big is it for the region that the Grand Prix is going to be staged here?
It's one of the largest events in the Middle East, sporting events in the Middle East. It's going to be in a unique circuit in Bahrain, and we're all looking forward for the largest event in the Middle East.
What can the visitors to the Bahrain Grand Prix expect?
Well, they can expect a unique experience in the Middle East, a truly Arabian experience. I think the circuit in the middle of the desert is a unique experience in itself, and I think the whole area here surrounding the circuit will be transformed into more of a tourism area. We're looking to build a hotel and a shopping center and a commercial center right next to the circuit. But as I said, the whole area is being transformed, and we're very excited here in Bahrain.
So Bahrain's ready for its weekend in the spotlight. Average temperature for race day, by the way, expected to be around 30 degrees. Who's going to arrive here in shape? We've been assessing the form of the heavyweights in winter testing, starting with the champions, Ferrari.
The reigning champions will be strong again this season. Michael Schumacher has dismissed retirement rumours and pledged his commitment to winning a 6th consecutive Constructors' Championship for Ferrari alongside a recently re-signed Barrichello. Expectations are high, but Schumacher admits it won't be a walk in the park.
Everything we see makes us looking optimistic, but then we know the competition is tough. McLaren, BMW, and even Renault, they're very strong. They have shown very good performance, so it's down to us to try and match that.
The new car's strikingly similar to its predecessor, but the team's rejected suggestions it's played too safe. The F2004 was launched late, so track testing's been limited, and Bridgestone's competitiveness is uncertain. But if anybody can put a challenge together, Ferrari can.
Anything less than a championship win this year will be a failure for Williams. They've topped the timesheets at most winter tests, so how confident has that made the drivers?
It's very hard to say you are going to win the World Championship. You know, hopefully we can win some races with it, and maybe, you know, if you have a car to win races, you probably have a decent chance of the championship.
The car has a unique walrus-like front end, a big visual difference, even if the nose design has a small effect on the car's overall performance. But there are problems surrounding Ralf Schumacher. Ralf could leave the team if he and Williams can't agree on financial terms in a new contract. He's already talking down title chances.
Looking at the championship, I see Ferrari being top again after what they've done with the new car. And I've heard that Bridgestone improved the tyre a lot, so let's wait and see how that works. And McLaren certainly being very strong. And who knows, maybe Jensen with the BAR looking at previous test times will be in the front.
Kimi Raikkonen came of age last season when he took the championship battle down to the wire, and many people have tipped the Finn to go all the way this year. For David Coulthard, 2004 is crucial. After 9 seasons with McLaren, the pressure's on to find a new drive, and he knows where his efforts need to be focused.
We all know that the key area last year that I struggled was in the one-lap qualifying. If I perform in that area, then I believe I'll win races.
The distinctive new McLaren is based on the ill-fated MP18, which never made it to the racetrack last year. This new package has been successfully pounding the test track since November, but will it hold together, and is it a winner?
The questions you're asking are the same sort of questions that I'm asking myself, and I'm sure Kimi's asking, and I know the engineers are asking, you know, just how good is the car? What I can say is I don't think we're sitting here with a dominant package that we can confidently say, like we did in '98, we went there knowing that we were pretty much going to be on the front row.
Last year's Renault was a good car, often hindered by a bad engine. This year they've abandoned the wide V-angle and gone for a more traditional design. If the chassis is also an improvement, they'll be right up there.
We can do it because we feel that Renault has got the potential. We've improved our results through the last few years. We now have to do a further step forward to try to fight consistently with the top teams. And to do that, we really have to put a lot of effort.
One of Renault's strengths has been their launch control, but that's now banned and may lose them an advantage. In testing, the car and Fernando Alonso have looked good, but will they be good enough in Melbourne?
To close the gap with the top teams is always difficult, but to beat them is even more. And you know, will be a tough season, but we have a very good people. We are working very hard, professional and enthusiastic people, and we can do it probably.
Martin looks desperately close at the front. Is this the year when Ferrari finally get knocked off the perch?
Could well be. They've launched an evolutionary car, at least to the press and public, although they say there'll be many more pieces turn up before the first race in Melbourne. But they'll have to be good, because Williams and McLaren, BAR and Renault are looking very fast.
Have Ferrari been conservative and the rest thrown the dice and gambled?
Michael Schumacher, Ross Brawn, Todt are all very positive about their new car. They may have cornered themselves a little bit. They're just along with Sauber on the Bridgestone tyres, where all the other top teams are joining together with their info on the Michelins. So Ferrari could be under pressure.
What do you make of the suggestion of the McLaren boss, Ron Dennis, that this will be Michael Schumacher's last season?
Wishful thinking. Ron says he's seen a few things and some body language that suggests Michael's on his way at the end of the year. I don't agree with him.
Montoya is definitely coming to McLaren next season. David Coulthard is definitely on his way out. How do you weigh up that scenario?
There's a long season to go yet, so nothing's too sure, but I'm absolutely confident David will be in a top car for 2005.
He still has the hunger to race, does he?
Seems to be, it's what he's telling me, and I haven't seen anything otherwise.
OK, Martin, thank you very much indeed. And there's plenty more coming up for you right after the break. And you're back with us in Bahrain, looking ahead to the new F1 season that kicks in next weekend in Melbourne. Martin, we had a great year last year, and they've changed the regulations again. Why?
I can't see any good reason, frankly. What they've done is taken the Friday single-lap session, moved it and bolted it onto the side of the Saturday run. So effectively now you've got 40 cars out there through that qualifying period, and that takes away a lot of the variables for me of weather and dirty track, and I think won't mix the grids up as well as it did in 2003.
And just one engine per car per weekend. What effect's that going to have?
Well, theoretically we're expecting less reliability, but as we saw with the new Parc Fermé rules last year, where the cars were locked away and couldn't be worked on, the teams adapted very quickly, and I'm expecting them to do the same this year. What will happen though is on Fridays, when we're at tracks where there's a lot of testing, for example Silverstone or Barcelona, you'll barely see a car on the racetrack because they want to save their engines for the weekend.
You talk about Fridays there. As a former Grand Prix driver yourself, you're very upset as to what's happening to some drivers on Fridays.
Well, if you've been in more than 6 Grand Prix in the previous 2 seasons, you're not allowed to be the 3rd driver in the bottom 6 teams, which is a golden opportunity for somebody like Justin Wilson. Seems very unfair to me. The FIA say the teams made that decision. Restraint the trade as far as I can see.
OK, Martin, thank you very much indeed. Well, here in Bahrain, they've done a fantastic job to get ready in time for next month's race. Bahrain actually swapped places with China in the calendar. The Chinese have got till September to get up to speed. From Shanghai, Ted Kravitz reporting.
Pearl of the Orient, Paris of the East. Old Shanghai is fast becoming the economic powerhouse of Asia. The only thing that's missing from this new world-class city is a world-class sporting event.
应该在汽车的文化、对汽车的文化、汽车的一些科技、汽车的工业，这个以及上海的旅游等等各方面都会起到很大的作用。
The first thing that strikes you about the Shanghai International Circuit is the scale. It's absolutely huge. The 30,000 spectators in this grandstand are going to have a brilliant view, as are the 500 or so journalists in this media centre hovering above the track. It's right next to the race control, and as for the pit lane, there's plenty of space for the teams to spread out. If there's one thing China has no shortage of, it's people, and there are 5,000 construction workers on day and night shift labouring to get this track finished. And this is the F1 paddock, Shanghai style. Each team will have its own building overlooking this lake, and they'll all be joined by zigzag bridges in the traditional Chinese style. I don't think there's anyone who's not going to love this. Shanghai is investing serious money into the track, £185 million, paid for by the state and private business. They all want it to work, but China's never had a motorsport event like this. Will the people go for it? Do they even know anything about F1?
舒马克、迈凯舒马克、乔丹、法拉利、
巴里切罗、
麦克拉伦、贝拉通、乔丹。
It doesn't matter which team you are then, there are massive commercial opportunities here for the whole of Formula One. China is still a communist country, but its 1.4 billion consumers can't be ignored. Shanghai has the economy and the sporting interest. F1 has arrived just in time.
And you rejoin us at Bahrain. In the souk, the vibrant central market, just about everything's on offer here. Herbs, silks, spices, jewellery, whatever you want, you can find it. Well, Jenson Button has sampled the delights of the souk, where bargaining for the best price is an essential aspect of the shopping experience. Jenson has certainly been on the money so far in his new role as team leader at BAR, and he could well lead the charge to be best of the rest.
I think podiums are going to be difficult, but I think we've got a good possibility to be fighting for podiums most of the season, and it'd be great to get a win also. But again, for a win, you need to have a little bit of luck.
It wasn't just luck that saw Jenson lead the last two races of 2003. BAR have continued those improvements with a tidy car and a more powerful, lighter Honda engine. But it may take them a few months to understand every nuance of their new Michelin tyres. Jenson will bear much of that responsibility now that the less experienced Takuma Sato has replaced Jacques Villeneuve. What will that mean for the team leader?
Giving my opinion more often than not, and just pushing them all on certain things. You know, even if they know a certain problem, I'll still push them really hard on it.
Mark Webber's qualifying performances were a highlight of 2003, but the Jaguar R4 had fundamental flaws in race trim. The new R5 seeks to address those issues.
I was sick of really qualifying reasonably well, and then we were struggling with our race performance. Hopefully we can do that and unlock some of that potential in the R5 and do the Grand Prix a lot quicker and maybe compromise some of our qualifying performance.
Webber has the ability to get the job done, but has Jaguar's design team been too conservative? Money remains tight, but new boy Christian Klein brings more than just fun.
We want to reach some points in this season, and we have to work together, me and Mark, and I think that's the goal for the first year.
The new Sauber is a dead ringer for last year's Ferrari, and the two teams are actually growing ever closer. That's because Sauber are the only midfield team left on Bridgestones, and Ferrari need them to help find tyre improvements.
Ferrari is the best team at the moment, and now we have the same engine, the 2003 gearbox, and we have more collaboration with them than the past. This is very important for me and for the team, so we are looking forward.
Toyota showed flashes of real promise in 2003. Now they must learn to translate that into results. The new car was already designed before the arrival of technical director Mike Gascoigne, but his influence promises to be a real bonus as the season progresses.
I personally think he is going to make a big difference, because he is a man that is bringing not only a lot of experience and knowledge into the team, but also leadership.
At 37, Olivier Panis is Formula One's mature elder statesman, but he needs results to ensure he features in the team's long-term plans.
I'm here to win, but I need to be realistic. Also, for me, I need to wait Melbourne, and after that I have more idea what we need to do for the season.
Jordan have a year of rebuilding ahead after a disastrous 2003. They've hired two new drivers, and Nick Heidfeld from Sauber and Italian Giorgio Pantano. The car will use the same engine as Jaguar, so there's some optimism in the camp.
From speaking to all the people in the team, we can really look forward. I think we can go up. The question is just how far.
The team has the second smallest budget in the pit lane, but the quality of Jordan's engineering has always been top rate.
This is a very, very major step forward. Hopefully we've been able to catch up to the really good guys, and time will tell.
The fact that Minardi is even making the trip to Melbourne is a triumph in itself. The team has very little budget, but that hasn't stopped Minardi drivers from shining in the past, and promising newcomer Gianmaria Bruni is hoping to follow in the footsteps of Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber.
I'm one of 20 drivers and lucky in Formula 1. So for the moment, I'm just so happy, and I want to improve the Minardi team and my career too. So I'm happy.
Zolt Baumgartner brings much-needed finances, but realistically, Minardi's expectations remain low.
Hopefully, some of races we can score 1 or 2 points. That's our goal, I think.
OK then, Martin, we've ended up in one of Bahrain's famous forts. What chance Jenson Button storming the F1 ramparts and getting on the podium this season?
Almost certain, I would have thought. He's absolutely flying. He's picked up the mantle of team leader at BAR extremely well, and with the winter testing, his times have been incredible. So I'm really looking forward to something special from Jenson.
Any other team caught your eye?
I think Sauber, with their looky-likey Ferrari, are going to be strong, particularly with Fisichella behind the wheel. Renault, we know, will be right there. But you've got to look to the top 3 for the World Championship, I think, still.
Right. What do you make of this place of Bahrain as a Grand Prix venue?
I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to the Grand Prix. It's just a 3-hour time change from the UK and a 6-hour flight. Well worth the trouble.
OK, we're off and running next weekend in Australia. Be sure to join us live, if you can, for qualifying and the race itself in the early hours. There are reruns later on, plus the highlights on Sunday evening, all on ITV1. Feel sure that Bahrain's going to be a really spicy addition to the F1 calendar. We've enjoyed our stay here. We're looking forward to coming back as well. Next stop for all of us, though, it's Oz next weekend.
It's a tough life, but somebody's got to go and do it.
OK, we'll see you there. Bye-bye for now.
When the lights go out, the race will be on. I can't get rid of you. No!
Barrett, been in the wall. That was excellent driving from Raikkonen, if a touch rude. It's looking like a Meccano set that hasn't been put together properly. Bits falling off it left, right and centre. That Ferrari is beatable. Montoya's spun, backs it into the wall. No damage will be done, and he'll get away again. Coulthard leads the Grand Prix.
David Coulthard from Twineholme in Scotland wins the Australian Grand Prix for the 2nd time in his career. This race was just what Formula 1 needed.